God bless you for taking a minute to listen to this. I think I sent out a message earlier this week about, making sure that we do all that God has asked us to do. We prayed about several things and we're still asking God, and He's saying, will you please go ahead and make that move, walk on the water, do it scared. But I want to talk to you right now about one area that I'm waiting to make sure that I waited to make sure that it was time to release this message. And I know that that's one of my assignments, to make sure I get all of these things that need to be aired out through those who are part of this linkage of our apostolic builders, so that you can understand what's going on with these babies today. My caseload continues with so many kids who are hearing voices, are very violent and fighting the teachers, getting kicked out and acting up in church and the whole nine, and they're just angry and they have voices that they're hearing. They're seeing spirits. But most of these things are connected to what and who are we allowing our children to be in the midst of, or that we're settling, allowing them to take part in. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I want to make sure that you take a minute to listen to this dream the Lord gave me on January the 2nd of this year. And I asked Him when. And so it's now. Before the end of January, I need to make sure that I get out all those things that the body need to hear and know, and they need to act right now concerning these matters. Because He knew He could trust me with these things. And I'm going to tell you like it is and keep it real. And I also want to make sure that as I share this information, you're just not listening, but you are acting. Because guess what? You're listening, and now you're going to be held accountable. So guess what? You might all click it off right now, because you're going to be held accountable for what you hear, what thus says the Lord, from this dream that He gave me. All you got to do is ask God, is this you talking to me, Lord? Oh, yeah, He's talking to you. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a mentor, whether you're a pastor or a leader, or whether you just a young woman, listen to this message, you're going to be held accountable, because it's your responsibility to bring up and help pull those up out of hell's fire. I know I'm talking to somebody. But you're also going to get a link that you need to click on, that you're going to hear this young girl talk about this COD, this compulsive, disorder that causes kids to want to do and be connected to things, and how we allow ourselves to ignite that spirit even more so for them to become compulsive. Why? Because we don't want to hurt their feelings. We want to make sure they be a part. But listen to this dream. And make sure you click on that link, that YouTube link that I send with this message, so that you can see what these spirits are hiding in these children, and what this young lady is showing that has happened to her. And so this dream, when it's this, I'm reading it to you now. He said, I had a dream last night. This is January the 2nd this year. I had a dream last night, and it was not. And incidentally, I want to let you know, these, when I send these out to you, I've been fasting since September, just asking the Lord to open up, my eyes in the spirit to hear and see what the Spirit of the Lord wants from us, especially as leaders and parents. And so you listen to this. He said, I had a dream last night, and it was not all clear to me yet, but what God did allow me to capture in my prayer time was a huge watch. Please listen to me. A huge watch that appeared as large as a wrestling match champion's belt. You listen to me. You hear what I'm telling you. I was either speaking to some adults and teens / kids, and it was as though it was time to give out these gifts to these kids. There was a gift bag full of gifts inside that someone handed to me to give out. I don't know who handed it to me, but anyway, when I looked in the bag to begin to give out the gifts, I saw this watch that captured my eyes right away. It had a lot of computerized gadgets on the face of it, where the time numbers and hands should be showing. In other words, there was no hands to show, or no numbers to show that it was a watch, but it appeared to be a watch. And as I examined it, I became shaken in the spirit. And I did not want to give that watch to anyone. I could feel in my spirit that the way the watch had all the computerized gadgets on it, and no hands or no numbers that was symbolic to the last day warfare, is what it was against our children. I remember speaking out loud with a loud voice of disgust and surprise. What in the world is this? I could see the teens and youth reaching and screaming that they wanted it. You know how they do, like they're trying to get a hold to movie stars. They was grabbing and saying, oh, I want it. And I told them no. I need to take some time to see how this watch works before anyone gets it. Some of the leaders' faces, check this out. Some of the leaders' faces and their body language expressed that they did not understand what the big deal was about the watch. Yeah. They ready to say, just get a baby the watch. So anyway, to them, it was just a kid's playful watch. I discerned that they did not like that I would not give this watch to one of the kids. There was more, but that's all I remember from the dream. In my prayer time, the Lord spoke to me about the watch and said that the watch was very clear about the watches and clocks message that I gave at a speaking engagement on December 29th at this church, and how this watch that was fashioned and how it was slipped into the bag to draw our children even greater to a life of computerized games, to make them focus on and trust in the computerized systems of a Kairos lifetime. You better hear me. Listen to this further, what he showed me. He said, this means that they will act as their own God and in their own time and way. They fear nothing, they see nor reverence no time. And it's all about the timeless, carnal technology ways to do what, when, where, and how the timeless technology will feed them to become faster and fearless. My God. And that's why the watch was so huge and had no clock hands or numbers on the face of the watch, only computerized gadgets. He spoke to my spirit that we as leaders and parents have compromised with every computerized devices that will appease or make our children feel a part of their peer groups technology and or to appear rich and more computer wise in the world's time of technology. He said it's Satan's subtle way of capturing the minds of our children for the mark of the beast. We must be diligent in warfare, fasting, and prayer to take back the minds of our children concerning the demonic use of the computerized games, perverted cell phones usage, where they're sexting, naked videos, chatting and masturbating and pornography, etc. Then he led me to read Luke chapter 2. You do it in your own time. But he wanted us to see the now power of our God. And we must know that he is the Savior of all. And that what? We have this final word to say to the devil concerning these things that we've compromised with concerning our babies. Who's watching your baby? Who's teaching your child? Who's encouraging them to do certain things in the technology? And, we sit back and say, not my daughter, not my child. I never forget when my granddaughter was caught in this situation where she was calling herself, showing her private parts on a cell phone. I know I'm talking to somebody. And so we wonder, well, what's in the mind for a child to want to open their body up? Or what's in the mind of a child to want to keep always having their hands on this computer, this gadget, and texting all day long, can't sleep, text all through the night. I had my granddaughter with me one night, just all through the night. I said, what is that noise? I get up in the middle of the night, what is that beeping? What is that? Oh, that's how I was getting text through the night. I said, give me that phone. You won't be getting no text all through the night, not in this camp. I don't understand that, how we will allow these technologies to consume our children's mind. And if you go on and read in Luke chapter 2, ask the Lord, what was that so significant about? As you saw Jesus, they said in chapter 2, verse 20, it said, and the child grew and waxed strong, in the spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was upon him. And it says, now his parents went to Jerusalem every year, and I'm not going to read all that, but when he was 12, of course, he got with the elders, and so he became missing. So who's minding? When I say minding, that word is very significant. Why? Because minding means that you're conscious. That means the brain, that the manifestations of the things that's going in and coming out, their perceptions, their emotions, their memory, what's locking in, their imaginations, what's being lodged in, what's being poured in, what's making them think and reason the way they do, what's causing their wills to be perverted, what's causing their judgments to go in a different direction other than what we have taught them. And why? Because many of us is falling out of place of watching our babies and minding the things of God concerning our children. But as you notice, as Jesus' parents started looking for him, when he was sitting among the elders and getting poured in those things of wisdom, Many of the parents today are using technology, buying all these videos and tapes and things to appease the kids while they down on do what they want to do so they can stay out of their hair. Go on upstairs, I bought you that new game, go watch that. Or, giving them a new cell phone to make them look like they so computer savvy and so rich and wonderful and, full of technology in their lives too. They're not left behind, in other words, with technology. That's what the devil wants to mind our children today. But the devil is a lie. And we've got to get prepared. And so I'm going to close with this message. It's up to you. You heard this message. You've got to take back your child. And the greatest way to do that, we got to recognize and go back. We need to go back to Deuteronomy. We got tight on here. Deuteronomy chapter 6. In Deuteronomy, he's talking about, when and where and how you need to prepare now to prepare. And husbands, you need to get in line, and baby daddies need to get in line with these children to send them over there to that camp. You need to make sure that the mind of your child, who's minding your child, who's taking care of your child, what is going in, my God, and what is coming out of the mind of that child. And so we got to pray. And fathers, if you're in the house and not just sitting in the house, but you're in the house and you're taking authority over the mind of your child, concerning these gadgets and these things, as God is talking concerning the time, the timeless ways that we continue to look at the now rather than looking to God for our future, our soul. We're allowing our children to have their way with whomever that's going to have the technology. My kids keep telling me, you need to get with the times, mama. Grandma, your cell phone is old. You need to get an iPhone. You need to get this. You need to get that. When really what they don't understand, all I need to do is be able to use the phone. I'm not interested in all the other stuff. I'm not going to get folded into the technology crippling me to do what I need to do. I don't need the technology to go on the internet and look up no scriptures. Why? Because I'm packing my Bible. I'm packing my gun with me. But see, we want everything to be so simplified. I know I'm talking to somebody. But in Deuteronomy chapter 6, it talks about how you need to prepare. And parents, I pray, and leaders, and 6, and verse 4, it starts saying, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. I know that should hit you right there. It means our computers and our cell phones and all these different things, they're not going to be our God. It's not going to be mine, that is. And thou shalt love thy Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee in this day shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them. There you go. Teach them diligently unto thy children. And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and thou shalt be what? As frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house and on thy gates. My God. And it shall be when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities which thou buildest not, and houses full of all good things which thou fillest not, and wells digged which thou diggest not, diggest not, and vineyards and olive trees which thou plantest not, when thou shalt have eaten and be full. And here's the problem right here. When we think we got enough information, when we think we're anointed enough, when we think we don't need no more information, we just turn everything over and find what we need from the computerized gadgets. And so our children watch us. Our children say, okay, my mom's giving me permission, and you're free to do what you want on that cell phone and on that computer. And before you know it, they're meeting somebody to kill them. They're meeting somebody to have sex with them. They're meeting somebody to just send them off track to do things with their bodies that they shouldn't do these gadgets. My God, help us today. And so I'm telling you right now, you must take authority. And in this hour, as we begin to question our children and question our relationships, we need to see who's really minding my kid. What kind of lifestyle are they really living? Let's check that house out before I send my baby over there, my grandbaby over there. No, we don't do that no more. We just send them. And so what do? They're real slick today, because what they do, they make you look like that they have this form of godliness, and then they want to medicate the children nowadays. They slip in Mickeys in their food and their drinks, put them to sleep and having sex with them, and they wonder what's wrong with them. They finding things wrong with them. It's too many cases coming today with incest in the camp from their very own dads and some their own mama. And we got to understand that the perversion that's going on in families that will not deal with these issues. These children are hearing voices. These kids are getting this, like I said, this compulsiveness to have these gadgets and these computers. And these cell phones just about to drive them crazy if they don't have it. They just about to lose their mind. They feel sick like they've lost someone. People are literally dying emotionally, these children are, when they don't have these computerized gadgets. So I'm praying in Jesus' name that you will hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying, and that you will begin to take charge back over your family, your children, hey, and making sure that you see in the Spirit, and that you take charge to see who's really minding, who's really pouring into your child, what's really going on in the camps where they're allowed to go by your permission. What else do your child need to be showing you concerning that cell phone? You better check even the Facebooks. They got more than one account today. They let you see one account where everything looks nice. Then they got another account where they're showing their bodies and doing whatever they want elsewhere. Instagram and the whole nine. It's up to you. God bless you. Praying on this side.